win that seat because you might need them in the southwest, that we win a seat.
An electoral pact between the Conservatives and Reform UK is being actively discussed at the highest level of both parties. Although I will admit there remains a host of problems, the most significant for the Tories being that Nigel Farage wants a reverse takeover of the party of Boris Johnson and Theresa May, and he will demand to be Prime Minister. I am told that is his demand in any form of coalition deal. Now, both parties have spent months denying what is probably inevitable. The argument for them has to be we will go it alone come what may. But a bombshell leaked recording to the Daily Telegraph reveals the secret talks that are taking place behind closed doors. The newspaper was leaked a secret recording of Esther McVey at the True Blue Patrons Dinner last month advocating for a deal as early as the Runcorn and Helsby by-election.
What you want to do is, like I said, where UKIP came second and we were a very, very distant fourth, like in Runcorn, like where Mike Amesbury punched his constituents, you'd probably say there, let Reform win that seat because you might need them in the southwest, that we win a seat.
Now, she explained her rationale further. Watch.
So you don't really know where things are going to go. But yes, I'm a pragmatist, and I think Conservatives are pragmatists. And when we get to the general election, would I be looking at an electoral pact? Absolutely I would. We don't want two right-wing parties cutting our own throats and Labour getting in, which could happen. So we do have to be pragmatic, and Phil's spot on. I know Nigel, I know Richard Tice, I know Lee, I know them all very, very well indeed. And I'd sooner say to them, there's a couple of seats you can get there that we came a very distant fourth and you came second. We'll stay out of the way. I want you to win it. And they can do the same for us. But let's see where we're going first. But like Phil says, if we keep a dialogue going, you keep in touch with one another, you're friends with one another, it's a lot easier to do that down the line than if you fall out with each other and say, I'll never do anything with you. But then I said I'm a pragmatist.
So confirmation that dialogue is taking place at the highest levels of both parties. As the Daily Telegraph's political editor Ben Riley-Smith, who obtained the leaked recording, said, though, that is very much not the leadership's line, the Tory leadership's line. And he added McVey was in the cabinet this time last year, also a former work and pension secretary. Here's some more. And she says it's fascinating as it offers a hint of what Tory MPs past and present are talking about should they do a deal. Right now, Reform is topping polls in the Runcorn by-election. The seat is vacant after Labour MP Mike Amesbury quit after punching a voter. Tories are a distant third. Kemi Badenoch has ruled out doing any electoral deal with Nigel Farage, says it's for the birds. But McVey has doubled down, by the way, when approached by the Telegraph about her stance, saying without a deal with Reform, we risk letting the socialists back in again, and country should always come first. Now, as you can imagine, Labour are having a field day with this leak. They've seized on it today, writing, Esther McVey is the latest senior Tory to talk up a coalition with Reform. A vote for Reform is a vote to let the Tories back in. The Conservatives broke our public services and Reform will make you pay for routine healthcare. Don't risk it. So Nigel Farage, on his birthday in the past hour, has just pushed back in a full-throttled manner, but not actually about the Tories, but Labour and its lying Prime Minister Slippery Stammer, who clearly understands that Reform remains his biggest electoral threat. Watch.
So the local elections are fully launched. We had our big rally up in Birmingham, the Liberal Democrats, Conservatives, and today the Prime Minister launched the Labour campaign for the 1st of May. Just to remind you, it's county council elections, well, apart from those that have been cancelled in areas where Reform was strongest. It's unitaries, it's 6 mayoral contests, and don't forget the by-election in Runcorn and Helsby. So the stakes are pretty high for May the 1st. What is really interesting is the Prime Minister isn't really even bothering to talk about the Conservative Party. It's Reform. That's who the Labour Party are genuinely scared of. And I have to say, he's resorted already at the launch to outright Labour lies. He says we want to charge people to use the NHS. No, we don't. We want a better, cheaper funding model. He accuses us of falling over Putin. No, we think what Putin's done in Ukraine is absolutely wrong. But Prime Minister, are you really going to commit a large chunk of the British Army to be in Ukraine for 5, 10 or 20 or 30 years? Because on that, we do take issue and we're genuinely worried. No, Labour are lying through their teeth because they can't defend the fact that an extra 7.2 million foreign-born people are now on GP lists. They can't defend the fact that the economy is going down the drain and that smash the gangs, forget it, record numbers this year so far across the English Channel. We will stick to the facts. We will not lie. And I tell you what, I'm seeing a Prime Minister who's very, very scared.
The MSM is doing all it can to destroy Farage's 61st birthday, by the way, with Politico this morning, suggesting that the Reform leader's special relationship with Donald Trump has cooled because he's not making him a video message this year. But I have to say, while the MSM is obsessed with the Tory Reform dynamics, within the right, the biggest concern remains the defenestration of Rupert Lowe in favour of Reform's chairman Zia Youssef, who Farage backed in spectacular style at that Birmingham rally. Watch.
Zia has given dedication, hard work, belief, helping me, helping us do what we can do. Zia, as chairman, is an absolute superstar and has a major future in British politics. Where is he? Where is he? He's somewhere. I saw him in the green room. He's somewhere.
But he wasn't on stage, was he? Because at the moment, amongst the base, Zia Youssef is viewed as the hater and wrecker who actually destroyed this relationship between Rupert Lowe and Reform UK by calling the cops on the guy. And Youssef is thought to remain a block to Farage ally Andre Walker's plan to bring both Rupert and Ben Habib, back into the party.
There needs to be more leadership from both Farage and from Rupert Lowe. And part of that leadership, I think, is the kiss and make up between the two of them. I think Ben Habib should broker the deal because he knows both and is highly trusted. He is the kind of pope, if you like, of our religion, of patriotism and right-wingery. God, the religious metaphors have gone far too far. But that's what we have to do. And we have to take seriously this concept of not saying, I support him or I support him, and take seriously this concept of not saying, I'm not watching Andre anymore because he hasn't supported Rupert, or I'm not watching Mahyar Tousijoins anymore because he's not supported Nigel. We have to get into the mindset of recognising that unity is strength and disunity is weakness.
So, can the right ever be united with these massive egos all at play? Mahyar Tousijoins is here now to discuss. Mahyar, so this is so interesting on so many levels. Can we start with this leak though? This leak from Esther McVeigh, which suggests that senior Tories believe there is a deal to be done with Reform UK. Do you get the sense that's what's being discussed, even though both parties publicly are saying, oh, no, absolutely not, we'll never do a deal?
Yes. Well, firstly, hello, Dan.
Hello,
thank you for having
great to have you.
So, on the one hand, this is still status quo, which means the Tories and Reform, whether they like it or not, whether their supporters like it or not, inevitably they'll have to do some sort of coalition or pact as it stands now, because all three parties are neck and neck. I love how all three parties are neck and neck and each one of them are claiming to be popular. I'm like, you're all neck and neck. None of you is popular.
We hate you all at the moment.
Yeah,
we hate you all.
That's basically it. The three uni party. The problem is, so the Tory party lives based on survival. And if that means that at this time, they'll have to do a pact, and they stayed in a very natural way, like Esther McVeigh and the others. It's not like some sort of shock statement from them among the Tories. Then they will do it. And we do know that Nigel Farage and those type of Tories who are in Reform always wanted to be accepted by the Tory party, but they couldn't, so they thought they have to find a different way. For example, we had I was speaking to one of the senior people close to Nigel Farage and Reform, at a place where you were there as well, Dan, and he said that because I said, well, Reform is saying they want to destroy the Tory party. They say no, Nigel did not say that. Yusuf said that. Zia Yusuf, they were very proactively defending, saying, no, 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 we don't want to destroy the Tory party. That's Zia Yusuf. Zia saying it off the record. He wants to destroy the Tory party, but no, we don't want to destroy the Tory party. So you can see the language from Esther McVeigh as a Tory, and of course, the surrogates of the Reform UK saying, yeah, we don't really want to destroy the other party. It's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, but isn't this the big worry though, Mahyar? Because actually, do you get the sense that maybe deep down, even though he'd never publicly admit it, Nigel just wants to be leader of the Tories? So if there is a way to engineer some sort of reverse takeover, he might take that. Whereas I know you know the anger amongst our audiences with what the Tories did over the past 14 years. But first, a 2024 study links caffeine to higher anxiety risk. Half of North Americans are sensitive to it, and 40 million Americans are diagnosed with anxiety. Now, coffee's jitters fuel anxiety, yet it is the most used drug in the world. Coffee, that is. I'm going to admit, I was trapped too. But for me, it was those diet energy drinks, which I would chug on a regular basis to get a caffeine hit, feeling jittery, anxious, and exhausted by the mid-afternoon. Then I heard Andrew Huberman talking about theobromine, which is found in chocolate, and it provides a gentler, longer-lasting energy boost without the anxiety by improving blood flow, getting more oxygen and fuel into your brain and muscles. And that led me to Morning Being by Verso, a brew with theobromine and all the good things in chocolate, along with antioxidants and electrolytes for all-day energy, hydration, and focus. And honestly, this drink is amazing. Like, I know it's the not the morning right now, but it just tastes so good. Rich, chocolatey, smooth, and the best thing is this is cold right now, but in the morning I have it hot and it tastes just like a McDonald's hot chocolate, totally different to other coffee alternatives which actually taste awful. On top of increasing energy, Morning Bean's ingredients have been shown to reduce stress, enhance mood, and balance blood sugar. Cocoa powders, drinks, and products are commonly contaminated with high levels of toxic heavy metals, but Verso conducts third-party testing on every batch to ensure they have pure, high-quality cocoa, prioritizing safety and high flavanol content. Since I started taking Morning Bean, I'm feeling more focused with less energy crashes. I also like how I get my daily dose of superfoods from it too. So if you're looking to replace your coffee or your second cup or those energy drinks, those morning energy drinks like I used to have, give Morning Bean a try by Verso. You can click on the link in the description box below or head on over to buy.ver.so/outspoken. Use the coupon code outspoken to save 15% on your first order. I'll just repeat that address, buy.ver.so/outspoken. Remember, you've got to use the coupon code outspoken, then you will get 15% off your first order. But now, back to the show.
Yeah, knows that too. And even if deep inside he would like that, he's not going to do it the way we described it, as in he's not going to infiltrate the Tory party and somehow take it over by destroying it. It is going to be, I think the aim is to do a similar thing that happened in Canada. And, you know, when the alternative right-wing party forces the establishment right-wing party to basically...
Also called Reform, interestingly.
Literally, yeah, exactly. So, but I think the Tories, because they have to be a little bit quiet for now because nobody wants to hear from them. But at the same time, when they're quiet, people say, what are they doing? It's a lose-lose situation for the Tory party. But they have a couple of options. Either stay with Kemi Badenoch and be forced to do some sort of pact with Nigel Farage, or get rid of her within the next year and go radical, and I don't know, perhaps someone like Robert Jenrick, and then see what happens. Because
I saw you bumped into the other day, Mahyar.
Yes.
What was he telling you? Because I mean, I have to say, I think he's turning into a bit of a political superstar. And I know he's had this Damascene conversion, but actually, as long as he's genuine, like, do you think he's genuine?
Well, I've known him for about 12 years now, longer, I think. And he is genuine in a sense that when he was a government minister everybody was like, what is he doing? Why is it such a wet lettuce? Because that's not the generic when we knew. And so now his obviously true self has come out. But a lot of people are basically still looking at him as that government minister. So he needs to obviously rebrand that anyway. But it's interesting because now that obviously I just report the news and I give my opinion based on obviously what's happening. So now that I criticized Zia Youssef and Reform UK, people are saying, Mahyar is a Tory. When I was criticizing the Tories, they were saying, Mahyar is Reform. And then they're now saying Mahyar is UKIP. I'm like, I can't be all parties at the same time. I can't multitask, guys.
Yeah, Mahyar, I was watching one of your episodes on Tousi TV the other day about this whole Rupert Lowe fallout. And your point of view is that actually we don't need to support anyone yet. It's too early in the electoral cycle. And you think what we need to do, and I think this is where I'm at too, is basically try and push all of these people in the direction that we need, rather than nail our colours to the mast at this point.
Yes, it's interesting because the reason I said that is because a lot of people in the country, it's a very Western European thing where we always have to be dependent on others. If somebody has to save us, and we have to basically be tribal. I said this because a lot of people are saying, no, Mahyar or Andre or Dan or whoever, you should do this. You should support this party. You should push for this because we're going to die. Or they should support this party now. I'm like, no, it's not the job of people who are outside of parties, whether you want to call them voters or supporters or whatever. It's not their job to do the bidding for any political party, whether it's Reform or the Tories or Labour. It's the job of the parties to do it. So, the fact that people, supporters of each party, for example, supporters of Tories or supporters of Reform, are shouting at me and others saying, no, you should do this. You should support them. You should not call it out. Like, it's not our job to make those parties look good. It's the job of those parties to do a better job. And it's not our job to even support them right now. Just stay quiet, wait for the parties to get close to the election, get their act together, and then you can see, I'd say this as a joke, even if the Green Party comes up with a good manifesto, I'll support them, but that's never going to happen.
No, I don't think I could go that far. But you talk about the parties making themselves look good, right? You have to admit, Reform UK, unfortunately, has made itself look so terrible with what they did to Rupert Lowe. And I'm still not over it. Like, calling the cops on this guy means you literally believe that he should go to court, that he should be ruined after decades in business as a very successful man, right? Like, Rupert Lowe is totally clean. If you look at his track record, his past, his relationship, all of it. You literally want him to go to jail because you had a falling out with Zia Youssef. Like, for me, that was a step too far.
Yeah, it's not really fully damaging their reputation, depending on who you're actually speaking to, because it is a very Tory centrist attitude that the leadership of Reform currently have. The sort of stuff that David Cameron and George Osborne would have done in terms of throwing people under the bus and basically just politically execute them. And so from the perspective of the centrists from the Tory party who are defecting to Reform, they like it actually. They quite like that the headquarters of Reform, just like the Tory central office, CCHQ, are very centralized and very authoritarian. They like that. So for a lot of other people, especially people who are not necessarily into that sort of politics and they want to be more populist or more grassroots, they don't like it. Yeah, of course. And I'm on that side. I don't like that sort of attitude that you mentioned about how they're treating Rupert Lowe. But the more centrist, more politically bubbly minded in terms of Westminster bubble, they're fine with it. So Reform UK has gone down a little bit in the opinion polls, but not fully, because they are getting more support from the centrist Tories. So,
but their momentum has stalled, hasn't it? Like, it's really interesting. They're trying to say, no, everything's fine. But at that Birmingham rally, I was literally watching, and you know how they have the membership ticker, and it was going up and up and up and up until the Rupert Lowe thing happened. And it's really stalled now around the 220,000 mark. And actually, and 220,000, don't get me wrong, that's amazing. But like, they were going like that. And look, this actually happened on the night, Mahyar. I saw it with my own eyes. Look, it was going down. And then they had to take it off screen. Now, I'm not saying that to try and like bash Reform UK. I'm just frustrated because it's like, you could be at 250,000 right now if you just found a way to deal with Rupert Lowe. And okay, maybe he is difficult behind the scenes. Personally, that has been never my experience. Like, I've dealt with Rupert Lowe for years and years and years. He's been a gentleman. He's always been on time. He appeared on my GB News show. He always replied to my messages. That's my personal experience. But even if he was a little bit difficult, right, he's your star. He's your potential future Home Secretary. Like, just work it out. You know Nigel really well personally. Do you think it was just an ego thing? Like, was he threatened by Rupert?
It's a clash of worldviews and personalities in the sense that it's not really just about Rupert Lowe. There've been many others for different reasons. And the issue is individuals like Nigel Farage are reactionary. It's interesting that people like Nigel Farage saying they are friends with Donald Trump. And President Trump is actually proactive, despite what the media says, in the sense that when, for example, Donald Trump is under attack, he hits back, but then he actually has something to offer. He says, anyway, we're doing this campaign, we're going to fight back. Whereas Nigel Farage over the last few weeks, he's been very distracted. So you were talking about the momentum. Yes, every press conference is either about defending Zia Yusuf, which shouldn't be on the agenda, just talk about the policies, or it's just the vibe is not there. So the Birmingham rally was supposed to be like the biggest, so sexy and everything else, which would, if that were during the general election, it would have been treated like the big rally that Trump did in New York just before the presidential election, but it wasn't. Even though obviously Farage also copied Trump in terms of all the tractors and whatever they were using to do publicity stunts, it didn't really stick because he's reactionary and he spends more time. You can see the facial expression, body language. He's on the defensive right now. Instead of just basically saying, you know what, I'm just going to talk about my things. He made the same mistake with Tommy Robinson. He didn't have to keep attacking Tommy Robinson. Tommy was in jail anyway. Tommy wasn't even saying anything. The media were asking Reform UK and Nigel about Tommy. Just say, oh, well, yeah, I don't know Tommy personally. He's done some stuff. He's not really a member of our party. Anyway, next question. Instead, Nigel Farage kept attacking him and kept basically saying that, for example, he's a criminal against beating of women or whatever, which is not true, and many other random things that came up. So by talking about it more, he was more on the defensive in general, and that's a problem.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.